Hola amigos, buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a Cafecito con Masha en esta gran semana del Campeonato Mundial de Patinaje. Seguramente muchos de ustedes no han dormido, yo en lo personal no he dormido nada, pero la satisfacción y la sonrisa nadie me la quita de la boca, estoy muy contenta. Bueno, pues porque vimos hoy cosas increíbles en la categoría de damas, en la categoría de parejas, así que todo muy bien. Espero que todos estén muy bien. Si no se han suscrito a mi canal todavía, por favor háganlo en el botoncito de aquí abajo y síganme en todas mis redes sociales para que se enteren de todas las entrevistas que estoy haciendo y también de todos los videos que estoy subiendo con respecto al Campeonato Mundial. También recuerden que si quieren que al final de la entrevista lea alguna pregunta o algún comentario a nuestra invitada, no dejen de utilizar el super chat, ya que gracias a esos donativos que todos ustedes hacen a mi canal, hemos podido llegar hasta donde estamos el día de hoy en tan solo poquito más de un año. Welcome everybody to Cafecito con Masha. We are in an amazing week because finally we have the World Championships. So I don't know how many of you slept. I haven't, but I'm really happy because of course I was watching the competitions. We saw some amazing things in the ladies event, also in the pairs event. And today we have someone special who, at the end of the interview, will tell us her opinion about this discipline in figure skating because she's like very special in that category. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do it in the button below. Also, follow me on my social media so you can learn about all these amazing interviews I've been doing. Not only the figure skating interviews, but also the Road to Tokyo interviews. And of course, I will be posting videos from the World Championships. So please follow me. And of course, if you want me to read a comment or a question at the end of the interview, please use the super chat. Remember that these donations you kindly do to my channel are helping me grow so much. I mean, this channel has been just for over a year, and it's amazingly growing. So I'm very happy, and thanks to you. So I want to introduce our guest for today. We have an amazing skater from USA. She's a pair skater. She is an international competitor. She won 4 continents, and she also has a national title. We have Tarah Kayne. Welcome, Tarah. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for accepting to do this interview. This is amazing. I mean, I have followed you through your career, and you're an amazing skater. It's too bad that we're not seeing you compete right now, but we'll be talking about that later. But first, I want to talk. This was a crazy year, the pandemic and all. People has been in lockdown, ice rinks closed, competitions canceled. I don't know how it was for you. We will be getting into that topic later. But first, I want to start from the beginning. You started as a solo skater, and I'm wondering what made you switch to pairs.
I think I always had an interest in pairs. I remember when I was younger, my mom and my grandmother would take me to Stars on Ice or Champions on Ice. And I remember being really excited by the pair skaters. And pair skating wasn't a thing at my rink. We didn't have pair skaters or ice dancers. It was a pretty low level singles ice rink. So I was always really enamored by the thought of being able to skate with somebody, especially being able to do lifts or throws. So when I got a little bit older and we realized there was a rink about an hour and a half away from our house where Jim Peterson, who was an Olympic pairs coach, was coaching, I convinced my mom to drive me up there so I could give it a try. And I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And the best part about it is that I wasn't out there by myself, because as much as I liked skating, I was not a great competitor by myself. I would get really, really nervous. And I still get really nervous with pairs, but it's a lot better when I'm with somebody.
Yeah, totally. But you know what I think? I think you're made for pairs. Like your whole body, your way of skating. I don't know. I think you're just perfect for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I like to think so.
You're amazing, really. So, going forward, I remember that one of the huge achievements for you was actually when you won the silver in Four Continents in 2014. So that's really amazing. I mean, Four Continents is such a big competition. It's something really huge. So, how was that feeling for you in that moment?
I was absolutely shocked. I did not go into that competition at all thinking that I would get a medal. If anything, I remember before I went on the ice just thinking about how grateful that I was to be in Taiwan, which was a place that I never thought I would ever be in my life. And of course, now I've competed there maybe 3 times, 4 times. But I remember just before I got on the ice thinking like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe I'm even here. And then of course coming home with a medal was like the icing on top of the cake. I was shocked and so excited. And I think it really just lit the fire of wanting to keep going.
It was such an amazing program. I remember watching this program here. Oh my God, you guys look like two drops of water, like watching yourself in a mirror.
It's actually probably one of my favorite programs we've ever competed because it was really difficult when we first started it. Don Quixote has such um, very specific musical cues. So when we
Yeah,
were a little bit off of the music, it was so obvious.
yeah,
And I remember I would rush to get onto the musical cues, and then rushing that musical cue meant we would miss another one. And it was one of the most frustrating programs to learn, but it was one of the most rewarding programs when we were on.
yeah. It's a tough music. I mean, ballet musics in general are so difficult to skate to, and more if you're not like a ballet dancer. So it's a tough one, but you did a great job. And after that, I wanted to talk about nationals. I have always said that US nationals are like a really tough competition also. Just by going to US nationals, it means you're on the top, but winning nationals, that's like a whole different level. I mean, when you guys win a US title, you're like world medal material. So in 2016, you won the national title. And it was so emotional. I remember watching your program, and I think I was crying before you ended because you were there. There's a lift when you kind of scream on the air, and then you're so excited, and then crying at the end. Oh my God, it's one of those performances like the classic emotional moment you want to see on the US nationals. So what did that title mean to you?
That was another competition that I never thought that I was going to win when we went into it. Danny always had a lot more confidence in us than I did. I was just always hoping that I would stay on my feet and get through it, and he was always hoping that we would win. So I think that together got us where we ended up. But I think as a little kid, you see people winning these competitions and having these like celebratory moments afterwards where they like, pump their fists and really get into it and like scream in excitement. And all I did at the end was cry. So,
Yeah.
so I think he did the fist pump though. So at least one of us got through it. But the whole program to me was like, I was just in another place entirely. It was so second nature for me. And it was like being in the zone. It was so easy that it was done before I knew it. And I didn't even have to try.
I remember hearing the commentators saying that whole week you guys were like perfect on practices on the short program. I didn't see the short program. I just watched the final, but that's the moment you were kind of screaming on the air. But yeah, the commentators were saying that you the whole week it was like you wanted that, you were hungry for the first place, and it was so amazing.
I also remember hearing them say that as I rewatched the programs, and I kind of laughed to myself because I did not feel perfect that week. There's been competitions where I remember saying to myself, like, oh, I've been perfect this whole week in practice, and that was not one of those weeks. I felt like when I first got there, I was making mistakes left and right. I remember our first practice, I fell in the short program footwork. Just like a silly fall, like tripped over my toe. I did not feel at all perfect, but I guess I must have like put on a good show. Maybe I faked it. I must have been acting pretty well because I didn't feel perfect. That was those programs was when I felt perfect, but everything else I was probably really nervous.
Well, it was perfect. I mean, and we just love when we watch US nationals that this is the kind of thing that we want to see, you know? When you see a skater just performing nicely, doing the jumps, doing the spins or whatever, it's like, okay, they did their job. But when you see these moments, the crying moment, the emotional moment, oh my God, that's like, like the cherry on top of the cake because that's what we want to see. And it was so good and so emotional. I mean, I think it was like a huge, huge achievement for you guys.
Definitely. I think that's probably when I finish my skating career, that's what I'm going to look back and think about.
Yeah, I'm sure, definitely. So after that, in 2018, you won silver on the U.S. Nationals. You went to four continents. You won the gold. I mean, wow. We were talking before about silver in four continents, but then you won the gold, and that's so good, so amazing. And your performances were so strong. I mean, it's like we saw some big improvement from 2016 to four continents in 2018. So how was that for you guys?
um, when I was in 2018, I went in with the added confidence that I had already done it once with the USA next to it after like years and years of Canada or China or all
Wow,
these other countries, and the USA after years of not seeing it was really exciting.
that is so cool. But then I want to talk about the following year. In 2019, you competed again in four continents and you placed sixth. And in one interview, you said that it was like a personal disappointment. Why is that? What did you feel?
In 2019, we had competed at nationals and we won the short program and we had a missed lift in our free skate.
Yeah.
And we had been training really, really well,
Mhm.
really, really well. And I think it was kind of a shock to both of us when that happened. And we really wanted to go to four continents and kind of get that out of our brains and rewrite the story by skating really well at four continents and overcoming that. And for whatever reason, we couldn't shake it off. We were both skating scared. Instead of going out and really attacking that program, I almost went into every element trying not to make a mistake. So
Yeah,
of course, if you go into an element thinking like "don't fall,"
they're going to
you're
make.
gonna fall,
Yes.
and that's good. And we went into every lift thinking like, oh, well, don't put this down. So every element in the program was just shaky, slow, scared. So I think after that competition, we were both pretty upset with ourselves that we couldn't recover faster from nationals.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part of the athlete, the ups and downs. Because the year before you won the gold, and then going back to the same competition and placing sixth, that must be really hard.
Yeah, I think we just let ourselves get into our heads about it.
Yeah,
We felt like we should have done better, and we knew we were capable of it. So it was very disappointing.
I know. And I also read that you struggled so much with injuries, like in your whole career. I mean, in your knee, in your hip. What happened?
Right after Four Continents in 2014, I found out I had a torn labrum in my right hip. I had been having some pains in my hip and in my back, and I really didn't think it was that bad because I was still, landing everything. I was making it through, but it had gotten pretty painful to walk, to go upstairs, just everyday life things. So after Four Continents, I ended up having to get right hip surgery. And I didn't want to miss the season. So we did have to pull out of our Grand Prix, which is our first season on the Grand Prix. But I tried to get back really, really quickly. We ended up competing that year at the Golden Spin of Zagreb before nationals. Um, and when I look back at it, I actually wish we would have taken more time off the ice.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I ever had a full recovery before I jumped back into training. So not having the full recovery of the hip surgery ended up lending itself to my right side not being as strong. And then I think that's what ended up leading to a right knee injury later on.
That's crazy. I mean, skating in pain, that's tough. I mean, I know we athletes in general want to avoid to rest. I don't know why we do it, but we do it. I mean, that's the truth. So it's really bad because when you are at those levels competing, oh, taking those decisions is really really hard.
If I could go back and change things, I would have definitely taken more time off the ice. I would have made sure I was 100% before I jumped back into everything. But at the time, I thought if I sat out at nationals, then it would have been such a climb up in the future. And I wish I could have gone back and done things a little differently, but
I get
I
it.
kept competing and I would compete well. So
I totally understand. I mean, that happens, but now you can't change it. Just take care of yourself, and that's it. And of course, well, in 2020, like we were saying, was a complicated year. You went to nationals. After nationals, you went to four continents, and then everything stopped. No world championships, lockdown, no ice rinks. So it was a crazy year. Those months, when we were in lockdown, how did you manage to keep training?
that time period was really difficult for me and for Danny. We had been living at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. And when all of the lockdowns started happening, the Olympic Training Center actually locked down as well. So, what that meant for the athletes that lived there was we were basically told that we were not allowed to leave the training center. And for athletes that didn't train on campus for figure skaters, because there's not an ice rink on campus, we would not be allowed to train. So we were, I guess, dehomed.
Yeah.
We had to find a place to live.
Oh
And
my
this
God.
this wasn't just the figure skaters, it happened to a lot of different sports. But for Danny and I, we had left the Olympic Training Center to go stay with his parents in Chicago.
Mhm.
And while we were in Chicago with his parents, we got the message saying we weren't able to go back to the training center. So at that point in time, we no longer had a place to live
Oh my,
in Colorado,
you
which is
were
where we live.
homeless, kind of.
Yes. Yes. So we were kind of in a panic situation because it was like we had nowhere to live and the
Wow.
pandemic was really just starting. So I ended up staying on another skater's couch for over a month.
Wow.
Danny found a room to rent. It really wasn't a good situation for either of us. During that time, we were working out or like doing off ice lifts in a park outside. And it was definitely not ideal. I ended up moving 3 times during that situation. It
That
was
is
really tough.
crazy. Yeah, it's tough. How long were you in lockdown and couldn't skate?
I would say about three to 4 months.
Wow, that's a lot. So when you finally went back to the ice, you okay, you were still planning to compete. Actually, you made a change of coaches in September, I think. So when you went back to training, how did you feel? Were you scared of going back on the ice?
I was really happy to get back on the ice. I think we all were. Um, it was it was good. It felt good to get back on the ice. At that point in time, we were still with our previous coach, Delilah Sappenfield in Colorado, and we were both very excited to compete in some sort of we didn't know at that point in time what the season would look like, but we were trying to get ready to compete in any way, whether it was virtually or in person. Um, so that's kind of what we were looking forward to at that point in time. And the change of coaching came about once lockdown had lifted and we were training again.
That is crazy. And I'm seeing here that you were trying a throw quad salchow.
Yes, that was in 2015 and 2016 with Jim Peterson when he was coaching us.
It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really like doing throw quads.
Yeah, I mean, you fly, kind of. That is so cool. So I'm wondering, and I think this is the golden question. If you were planning to compete, you announced a change of coaches in September. What happened? I mean, I know in December you announced that you were splitting with Danny, and I think that was a shock for everybody. So what happened there?
At Skate America, after we competed, Danny and I sat down and he told me that he didn't know if he still wanted to compete. And he told me that he no longer really felt a love for skating
Mm,
and that he had other priorities in his life at that point in time, which was a pretty big shock for me. Danny and I had always said to each other that we would skate until 2022.
yeah.
And um, I think we had a very close partnership. We love each other very much. Um, he's still very important to me. And when he sat, I remember we were sitting outside and he told me, and I could like tell in his face, like this, he had been building up to this. And I think we both just like burst out crying. And at that exact moment, like one of the judges came over to us and they did not know what was happening at that exact moment, but they were like, "Hey guys," and just like wanted to come over and just like say hi to us, and then like took one look at our faces, and we were both bawling, and
Okay,
we
I
were like,
believe.
and they were like, and then just like turned and walked away. But yeah, it was a really big shock to me. I wasn't prepared for him to say that,
Wow.
and he said that he no longer wanted to come in and train every day. He wanted to move on with his life.
Oh my God.
And he
So
was,
you didn't see it coming.
when I look back now, I can see the signs, but I thought that it was because we were kind of in this transitional phase where we didn't have a coach. We didn't have a training facility. We had been traveling around the United States looking for a new coach.
Hmm.
And I thought that anything strange that I was feeling was because of that. So I thought it'll be back to normal when we're settled.
Wow, that's hard.
Mhm.
So we haven't heard any news from you about what's going to happen. So what plans do you have? Do you have in mind finding another partner or just waiting? What's your idea?
I think as an athlete, we always schedule or we plan for our lives at least a year in advance, if not a full quad in advance.
Yeah.
And my plan was to continue skating.
Hmm.
Yes, it was to continue skating with Danny, but I had no idea or I never planned to quit. I love skating. So when he told me that, I immediately thought to myself, well, I'm going to keep skating. There was not a moment where I thought, okay, well, this means I'm done too. Um, and I know that since we initially had that conversation, Danny has decided that he may like to continue skating as well.
Hmm.
But in my mind, I've always wanted to continue. So I'm going to, as of right now, I mean, plans can always change, but as of right now, I think I'll look for a new partner to compete with.
That would be good. I mean, you should like make an announcement. It's crazy that he decided this, like in the middle of the Olympic cycle.
Yes.
It's
Yes, it
kind of
is.
a tough moment.
Yeah. Like I said, like if I look back, I can probably pick out some things that I should have looked more into at the time, but I really at when he told me that at Skate America, I immediately just burst out crying and I knew that if he wasn't 100% on board, then we wouldn't be able to continue.
Yeah,
And I couldn't convince him to keep skating if he didn't love it 100%. And more than anything, I was looking at this person who I had spent the last 8 years of my life with every day. And I could see that he was sad and that he was upset. So I didn't want him to feel that way anymore.
yeah, of course. And I'm sure, I mean, you're a great skater. You have a high level, you're young. I'm sure you can find a partner who has the same goals as you. I mean, it's kind of what happened with Alexa and Brandon. So Chris didn't want to compete anymore. Alexa didn't know if she would find someone, and she did pretty fast, actually. And I mean, he has the same goals as her, so I'm sure you can find someone. And I think that's like the key to success, to find someone who wants the same than you.
Yeah, I think that's why Danny and I did accomplish as much as we did in
Yeah.
our early stages is we were always very driven and we had the same goals. And I think near the end of our career together, we had different priorities. And
Yeah.
I think that may have been why things were a little bit shifted.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And right now that you don't have a partner, are you still skating to keep in shape?
Yes, I'm still skating. I actually moved to Canton, Michigan, where my previous coaches, Jim Peterson and Amanda Avora, are. And I'm helping them coach a little bit, which has been really fun. And I skate every day.
That's good. I think that's going to be good. And maybe now that the season is over and things get, a little bit calmer, I think it will be the perfect moment to find someone.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the season has been pretty crazy. I mean, even though all the competitions were virtual or domestic or whatever, I think now things will settle down a little bit.
It was a big transitional phase for me too. So it's been nice just to be able to work on my own skating.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's a
so
positive thing, because usually when you are in a team, you don't have so much time to improve your own things, your own elements. So now you have this time for you to perfect some things. So when you go, find someone, you will be, more stronger, maybe.
Yeah, I think in our partnership, I kind of leaned on Danny quite a bit, especially as I was injured or coming off injury. So I am really appreciative that I have this time to um, kind of come into my own.
Well, it's good to hear that you want to still compete because, of course, I think everybody had that doubt because we didn't hear anything. I mean, we just heard the announcement that you were splitting, but then it was like nothing. So we were wondering that, and I'm so happy to hear that you will find someone because you are an amazing skater, and like I said, you are perfect for pairs. I mean, you are amazing, and we have seen you grow and glow on the ice. So I really hope that you can find someone who wants the same as you and who matches you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
No, with all my heart, that's the truth. And now, talking besides your amazing career, did you see the Perry competition today?
I did. I just finished watching it before I started talking to you.
What do you think? It was crazy.
It was. It was. There was a lot of surprises, which I think is because of COVID. There was probably a lot of people who were off the ice more than normal,
Yeah.
but I was shocked a few times.
Yeah, me too. Actually, me too. I couldn't even predict which teams
Mhm.
were going to be in the top 10 because we didn't see them for a whole year. So it was kind of crazy, but I loved it.
I think there were some really good skates, and maybe there were mistakes seen by teams that you don't usually see mistakes from, which um, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it does help skaters like me remind themselves that everyone is human. So
Yeah, of course. So, which were your favorite pairs today?
I really, really enjoyed watching Mishina and Galyamov. I
Yeah.
thought their program was so light and refreshing and really, really enjoyable.
What about the height of the jumps?
I think all of their elements are massive,
Yes.
not just their throws specifically. I always watch their throws. I will rewind and rewind their throws over and over again.
That twist, I mean, it was huge. I am always scared about the twist. And this was really, really big.
Yes, I really enjoyed their program. I thought they were going to be higher, actually.
Yeah, me too. But well, we still have the free program, so fingers crossed.
Yeah,
And what about your teammates?
I think I think they did really, really well under the amount of pressure that they're facing on a pre-Olympic Worlds.
Yeah.
Because as an American pair, all you hear every year is A, how you're not doing well enough, and B, about the spots. You need to get 3 spots. So going into Worlds and a pre-Olympic year, I'm sure they're feeling the pressure.
I'm
And I
sure.
thought they did really well. And the mistakes they did make are mistakes they can easily fix.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
know them really well.
I am always more stressed in the short program. I don't know why, but even when I was a skater, I hated the short program. I think or I feel that when you're in the free program, you have more opportunities to correct your mistakes. But in the short program, you can't do anything. If you miss a combo, you missed it, and you can't do anything about it. So
one,
I'm betting on free.
one mistake in a short program is horrible.
Yes.
You can't recover from that. But one mistake in a free program is not so bad, really. So
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Is short programs are a lot of pressure.
Oh,
So I feel like I can't wait for the free skate just to see how everything works out and how much people recover from their mistakes.
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, I was watching Alexa and Brandon, and I know they have been skating only for a year together, but they are doing a great job. It's so sad that Brandon doubled the triple toe, and in the case of Ashley and Team, Ashley fell. Ah, I was so angry. I was like, no, why? Because
Well,
that
you know they're
program
really
is
strong
amazing.
jumpers.
It's so
Yeah,
sad.
I know the both of those skaters are such strong jumpers, so to
Yeah.
see that happen, it just like
I know you want to kill them, but at the same time, you don't want to be in their shoes.
no, I want to like give them hugs. You're like, it's okay, tomorrow you got it. You got it tomorrow.
They got it. I mean, they are amazing, and there are so many great Paris teams. The China team is amazing. Also, the Russians are so good. I mean, the competition is really strong, but anything can happen tomorrow.
I think everyone was really excited to see Sway and Han back on the scene,
Yeah,
me included. And I really died when Peng and Jin skated and they had like the freak fall in the opening. Like, that, and then her dress was open. She did great though with all of those distractions.
I know, it's crazy, but well, these things always happen, and that's what makes it so exciting. And it's like what happened in the latest competition. I don't know if you watched it. I was watching Trusova on the practices, and she was doing triple axel in the short program. She was doing 5 quads in the free program. Today, she didn't even try the triple axel, and then she missed the combo. And I was like, oh my God, this can't be happening. But that happens. It's the stress of the moment.
And especially on this year without having so many competitions to practice and to kind of get those jitters out of the way, they all come rushing at you. And the Russian skaters have had like the Russian Cup, which is a good way to
Yeah,
work it out. But it's got to feel different being with the international skaters in the bubble and
yeah.
with others.
And let's think about something. I mean, in the case of the girls, the Russian girls, they haven't ever competed in senior in one of these competitions. I mean, the World Championships last year was supposed to be their first uh, senior competition. So they haven't competed against no one, really, except, for other Russians. So it's crazy. I mean, they must be so stressed right now.
Especially Trusova, 'cause everyone talks about. You see her everywhere. And
Everywhere.
I'm sure that's not lost on her when she goes to compete. I mean, she's it.
Yeah.
And any little bobble she makes, I'm sure she feels that tenfold.
And she's so young. I mean, I feel really bad for them because they are amazing athletes. But I mean, Trusova is 16. I think Sherbakova is maybe 17. They are girls, and they have to be alone with their parents right now, and with the whole world watching what they're doing. So that's really, really hard.
Extremely stressful at such a young age. I can't imagine because I was never on the scene at that age. I didn't even start skating pairs until I was 18. So
Yeah.
I have so much respect for the young skaters who are on this stage at that age.
Totally, totally. I agree. And in the case of Trusova, like you said, everybody's talking about her. But there's like this love hate thing because like everybody loves her because of the quads, but also hate her and call her a traitor because she left Tutberidze to go to Plushenko. So I just can't imagine how it feels to be in her place.
Especially because nobody really knows what's going on,
Yeah.
especially with coach changes, with the partner swaps. You can look at it from the outside perspective and say, well, I don't like that decision, but without being the skater, it's really hard to place judgment.
I agree totally. That's what I always say. I mean, in my YouTube channel, I usually do these videos, talking about the news in figure skating. And I get so many negative comments about that, they cannot judge. I mean, they have not skated with Tutberidze. Maybe the relationship, coach student was really bad and she wasn't feeling comfortable and she needed a change, and that's fair. I mean, that's her decision. If it's a good one or a bad one, well, that was her choice and they must respect that.
It's too difficult as
Yeah.
an outsider to place any judgment. I have no idea. I've never skated under either coach. I don't even know the girls, so I hope they're happy. I hope they're healthy, and I hope whatever decision they make is the right one for them at the time. And
Yeah. And I'm
I
so
don't
excited.
know.
I know, this is crazy. I mean, this is like a soap opera. But well, anyway, let's see what happens tomorrow in the pair competition, because I'm really excited to see what happens. And we have a couple of questions from you for you from the audience. Someone is asking, will you compete again, pairs or solo? We want to see you back.
Thank you. I would love to compete again, but definitely not solo. Definitely not. Uh, I'll definitely, as we just were talking about Trusova, think I think I'll leave that to her.
And what else do we have here? Someone is asking, what was the best moment of your whole career?
I think it would be hard to pick just one. I think the best moments of my career were probably when I finished skating at competition and we were really happy with it. And it was like right after we finished the program and we finished our ending position and we like hugged and we stood together on the ice, because that was like the moments where you were so happy and you were just looking at each other and you knew that you had done everything you could. And it was those moments. I can pick like a few specific programs out, but it's hard to pick just one.
I get it. I think, well, my favorite, I'm not in your shoes, but my favorite was your national title. Oh, that moment was beautiful.
Yeah, I think that was probably a good one.
Oh yeah, it is definitely. So, Tara, these were all the questions for today, but I would love to repeat another interview some other time. Maybe next year, maybe in the next few months, or when you finally find a partner, maybe we can talk, to refresh the information. But it was so nice to talk to you. I mean, you are, like I said, an amazing skater. I really hope that you can achieve the goals you have. I mean, it's like they were caught with no notice. So I really hope that you can finally do what you want to do and achieve what you want to achieve, because you deserve it. You are a great skater, a great athlete. You work really hard, and I would love to see you skating again.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed our time together today.
It was amazing, and thank you everybody for watching. Remember that this interview will stay as a video in the channel. Follow Tara on her Instagram. It's right here somewhere. No, the other way. And please follow me also on my social media and subscribe to my channel, please, to hear about all the interviews, the videos, the world skating, world championships videos, my usual videos, the interviews, road to Tokyo, everything. So please follow me and you will learn about everything. Thank you so much, Tara, and I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Bye, everybody.